Hey guys, I'd like to welcome everybody to this channel if you're new. I want to welcome the young honeys. I want to welcome the gentlemen who might be watching this. And if you're new to this, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Ivan. I'm an influencer on this space, on this platform. I'm an influencer now for 5 years. And yeah, that's sort of what I do. I influence here. And you can look around my channel, and everywhere you look, you see dozens of likes. Right? We're talking dozens of likes and hundreds of views, not just a few smattering of views and likes, but just a consistent outpouring, testifying to the fact that I am, in fact, an influencer. I change things with my words, and the things that I pursue here, the things that I talk about, are usually falls in the category of measured and constructive criticism of the intellectuals of the space. People such as Canadian parapsychologist Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, that's somebody I can look at. Somebody like Andrew Tate, a very masculine man, and has to be really challenged in a masculine way also. Not everybody can do it. And Tim Pool is somebody who I have offered measured and constructive criticism of. It's important to not aim at personalities, but aim at the message. When you're doing what I do, not everybody can do it. And for this reason, among many others, many of my subscribers consider me their YouTube dad. YouTube is very confusing. There are too many videos on YouTube. I've always said it. There's just too many video. You watch 1-3 videos pop out of nowhere, and now you're watching something else. And that's why you really need to have a parasocial relationship with somebody online to choose your YouTube dad wisely, so that you can actually watch this stuff, because there are too many videos on YouTube. I always said it. There's just so many videos, and it's hard to figure out what to watch and what not to watch. I believe it was the Spanish philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche who said that whenever a man tries to go to the peak of a mountain of wisdom, as he climbs up to this mountain, there are useless monkeys who attack him and bite and try to pull him down. That kind of a quote really stuck with me, because it's something I can relate to here. Because there are some kind of douchebags and losers who question the fact that I'm a YouTube influencer. And I will present some of these cases here because they're pathological, and you yourself have to look for such monkeys in your life and in your family life, and not interact with them. Maybe your second cousin is like this, or it could really be anybody. You have to really try to climb the mountain and then see how they react before you know which one of your relatives is actually a useless monkey, a useless, jealous, shitty monkey. So that's the kind of a philosophy we don't do nowadays with analytic philosophy. It just doesn't go in that direction anymore. But anyway, so one comment here says, lol, you aren't influencing anything, just another YouTube wannabe with main character syndrome. I personally refer to these guys as the sore booty brigade. There's something that's going on, some sort of pain that my channel causes them, some sort of a discomfort that I myself can't understand. And sometimes when I engage with them, it's hard to say what exactly is going on at all. Like some of these interactions are hard to decipher. So let's take a look at this comment. Crowder is garbage for sure. Do you have children? To which I respond, it depends on what you mean by children. I'm clearly an undisputed father figure to many of my subscribers. So here comes the strange reply. What about the children's plushie toys? I wonder if a grown man play with those, or do you actually have a daughter? Just wondering if I should subscribe or lump you in with other creeps who have plush toys in their videos. And then he writes again, what I mean by children, are you a father? What is hard to answer about that? Well, there are many definitions of a father and many ways you can play fatherly role in the lives of others. That's what. But anyway, what is so hard to answer about that? Yeah, I think you're a fucking weirdo. My dudes, I could explain these plushie toys, you know. I can explain where they came from and why they're here. But I will refuse to just surrender to cyberbullying like this, and I'm just gonna leave them without any explanation whatsoever. Because you know what? I'm an adult man. I don't have to explain my surroundings to strangers. You know, fuck you, dude. You know, I'm not gonna talk about it. In fact, I'm gonna take another plush toy of origin. Now I could explain where I got this and why I have it, but I refuse to do it, motherfucker. You piece of shit. You fucking monkey who pulls me down. I'm not gonna make that happen. And so, for this video specifically, this plush toy is gonna join the set here. I have to like sort of make sure that its identity is not compromised, and that everybody can see that it's a plush toy dog. You see. Alright, my friends, recently there was a comment underneath one of my videos, and it said fake Jew. And what am I supposed to do with that? Am I somebody who's pretending that I'm not a Jew, which I'm not? So I'm kind of somebody who gives up the vibe of somebody who's pretending to be a Jew? Or I'm a Jew who's fake in other ways? It's kind of one of those complicated things, and I just don't have the full answers for it. Am I a victim of anti-Semitism without being a Jew? You know, I decided not to ask for clarification for that comment, but it's something that I'm sure the philosopher Stefan Molyneux could explain to me in greater detail, because he really has given some thought to the Jews in his time. And you know, I only wish if I had a direct connect line to Stefan Molyneux to explain what being called a fake Jew actually means. What are the benefits of being a Jew that I'm missing out for now that people considered me a fake Jew? You see, these are the kinds of things, dude, you don't have to deal with because you're not a YouTube creator, you're not an influencer like myself who you know, has to wrestle. In fact, Jordan Peterson's next book is titled "Those Who Wrestle with God." You know, while I'm wrestling with being called a fake Jew, wrestling. And the other things that philosophically inclined people like myself and Stefan Molyneux wrestle with is death. They're the ethos, they're the logos, they're the Legos, and if you step on a Lego, things emerge out of it and go into the pathos and so on. And Stefan Molyneux, the thing about him is not only does he wrestle with death in an abstract notion like a philosopher would, but he's actually facing death potentially. He's facing assassination by the leftists. So he's really there. Somebody who should look underneath the hood of his car to see if maybe some woke brigade have, you know, put some explosion there or something. It really is a big mess over there with Stefan Molyneux. He really is either a paranoid idiot or, you know, just because you're paranoid, that doesn't mean that they're after you. So let's take a look at this video and try to sort it all out.
So cancel culture is a dress rehearsal for mass murder. I'll be very clear. Cancel culture is a dress rehearsal for mass murder. They're seeing if people can be disappeared from social media, and if people accept people being disappeared from social media, then they will accept people being disappeared from the world. When communists get into power, when socialists get into power, they kill us. No kidding, no fooling, and our families are lucky to get away. Yeah, it's a great leap forward off a cliff. Cancel culture is a dress rehearsal for extermination. Yeah, listen, they call it character assassination. Because it's a rehearsal, right? It's a rehearsal. And the kind of lies that are told about me in the mainstream media.
What mainstream media, Stefan? Nobody knows who the fuck you are in the mainstream media. What are you talking about?
In Wikipedia and other places, are very specifically designed to get crazy people to target me in a violent manner. It's an incitement to violence, right? Because they portray me as such an evil person. That's the old, would you shoot Hitler if you, as a baby, or whatever it is, right?
It would be very challenging to go back in time and harm Stefan Molyneux for the following reason. Stefan is a shape-shifting intergalactic lizard. So if you were to go back in time to the hatching of Stefan, you would have to somehow find your way inside of the mothership. And in the mothership where Stefan hatched, they really don't have oxygen, don't have the prerequisites that mammals need to live, So when Stefan was an egg, well, they're hard to tell apart. They basically all look the same. And you need to know the barcode in order to find the incubator in the mothership where Stefan was growing to maturity. Once Stefan became a baby lizard, yeah, he's an easy target, but he's still on that mothership, he's still on the mothership. And, when Stefan went down to Earth finally and attacked the homeless man in Montreal and ate his innards and assumed his identity and stretched his skin over himself, that would be the time to strike, to harm Stefan. But that's not for any person, that's a very kind of traumatic event. And if you don't time it right, it would seem that you're attacking a defenseless homeless person. So there are many complications that really don't exist with traveling back in time to harm baby Hitler. Like, baby Hitler is nothing compared to what the travails one would need to go through in order to really undermine Stefan before he became the great philosopher that he is.
So, yes, it is a sociopathic dress rehearsal for extermination. And it's very, very serious stuff, because we want to push back while it's still in the form of language, rather than wait until it's guys kicking in your door at 3 o'clock in the morning.
This has happened exactly 0 times when a right-winger was canceled from Twitter or YouTube or whatever, and then leftists showed up at his house and killed him and his family. This has happened 0 times. So, Stefan, if we want to be reality-based, we can't talk about something that simply isn't happening. It's much more dangerous than being a canceled right-winger. It's much more dangerous to play Call of Duty with the wrong team and have some teenager there swat your residence or something. Like, playing these video games and revealing extra information, people have actually died from these SWAT attacks from Call of Duty. So, Stefan, let's try to be reality-based if we can, please.
That's the opposite of culture. That's stagnation, that's decay. And there's a murderousness to it. It's designed to call in violence, which is what I've sort of been facing, right? I mean, that's why it's nice to come out here with you lovely people, because, I go out other places and, people are attacking the venues. There are bomb threats, death threats. They call 911. The police don't even show. I mean, this state of nature out there for free thinkers.
In spite of all the whining about the dangers that quote-unquote free thinkers face at different venues, for some reason it doesn't prevent Ben Shapiro from going to universities, Jordan Peterson giving talks at universities, Steven Crowder being on university campuses. So with all of this smoke, I don't really see a great fire there.
I mean, as far as just you have to stand up and speak the truth, I mean, the alternative to standing up is disaster beyond what we can imagine. And understand, too, that the word racism, it's largely invented and deployed by communists in order to sow divisions between the races.
If anything, Marxism and communism, they're about class consciousness. They're about class warfare. They're not about race. What has Karl Marx or Engels or Lenin or Stalin, wrote about race specifically? It's just not there.
right? So we have people of different races here. We're going to have a pleasant and rational conversation, and I don't care about your race, and you shouldn't care about mine. It doesn't matter, right? But if people can come in and say, well, you see, you have to hate me because of privilege, and I have to hate you because of this, and we have something, we don't have this in common, and we don't have that in common. If they can sow these kinds of divisions, they can create civil war, and they can say, hey, man, capitalism failed. Which is like, it's like poisoning your wife and saying, well, I guess she just didn't work out. Now, did she? A couple of more crunches, she'd have been fine, right? So it's, a multiracial society to me, is fine.
Fine.
But if a multiracial society has sows of hostility, hatred, and division sown in, then we're doomed.
All right, my friends. This is the end. What we have to watch out for is this civil war, potentially a race war. And one way we know that it's happening is if something happens to Stefan. If Stefan suddenly disappears, we know that the left is going for the brightest among us. So if Stefan disappears, it's the canary in the coal mine. Stefan is. So that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. Watch out. Watch out. Be well, my friends.